Yo, you're listening to a podcast of my show, The Royal Flush. Check it out Friday nights at 10 o'clock p.m. Central on the Get Global Network. Yes, sir.
It's the sign. Show. 777. J4. New album. I feel like the Pope on this y'all scared. No. As you await my arrival. Yes. Don't be scared. I give you the sign. Yeah. Christ walked on water. I flow on tracks. Call me God MC. Pardon the 7 seas, 7 continents I'm ruling. All behold.
Yes, sir. You listening to Soul Metro Radio. And this is the Royal Flush with the host, James the Fourth, which is me. Chilling this weekend. How y'all doing, man? It's been a minute since I talked to my people, but we back. We back with a new exclusive show, and I got my man, Big D. What's good, home?
What's up? Chilling on this little blue
What's
lawn.
up? Man, you know, that's what we call it, huh? Hey, man, just want to let people know that we're hitting a nice topic with crack and rap. You know, kind of cliche. They go hand in hand if you know anything about hip-hop and you know anything about rap, the genre. You know, it kind of spawned at the same time around in the crack era. So we want to hit on some topics around that, which we will dip in a little bit to the listeners out there and to the politics today, you know, with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. You know, that was an interesting debate fiasco that we had this, 2 days ago, or a day ago, I'm sorry. Very interesting on that. We'll hit a couple topics on that. But a lot of things going on today, man. A lot of things going on this week. A lot of things going on this month. A lot of things going on this year, man. And I just want to thank you, Dane, once again, man, for calling in, man, and politicking with your boy here on the Royal Flush, man.
Oh, anytime.
Yeah, I already know, man. You know, we always talk like we on the stoop, man. I just want to keep it all the way authentic, man, and just get right into it, man. You know, I know you've been catching a little bit of this Game and Meek Mill's beef in the middle of everything else we got going on, man. It's getting interesting, man, and we're gonna get to the topic, man. But I just have to flip it right to that, man. This thing is this is interesting, man. What's your take on that, man?
Clowns, all of them. You know what? Until I almost missed the days of rappers shooting each other. It's like, at least you knew the beef was real then. When a dude's ready to put a bullet in you, this is beyond anything you could put on a record. Nowadays, it's Twitter and dudes sending little Instagram videos to each other. Oh, when I see you, we'll beat your ass. Oh, fuck you, fuck boy. And like, really? And nobody. And then when they really see each other in real life, nothing happens. I'm like, man, I'm tired of that fake beef.
And then at the same time, you don't hear it's not based on like you said, it's not really based on competition. It's more like he say. It's more street talks than it is MC back.
Oh yeah, because then a little while ago, Game had beef with Sean Kingston, and Sean Kingston making little videos. You can see him on YouTube. Him talking about how he got robbed.
Sean. Yeah, you mean when he had the Jamaican accent coming in and out?
Yeah. That's funny.
Hey, Scott, what the bummer clock? That admitted the bummer clock. Yeah, he watched a couple episodes. He watched Belly a couple of times, and he was ox. He was ox before it was over with.
Yeah, he must have been watching shooters.
I'm the original Jamaican. What's the other one? City of God.
Yeah.
You know,
like, I don't believe you.
So,
you need more people.
Man, come on, Sean Kingston. I'm just like, when the last time you heard that name in the media?
Yeah, and when did you ever look at Sean Kingston as that kind of dude that gets it busy like that? Come on. No. Hey, I can see him attacking a box of donuts.
Hey, you sound like Game. That's the funny thing about it. I told one of my boys tonight, man, he hit me up, and I was just weighing in, and, you know, I didn't take any shots because, you know, it ain't making me no money. You know, on Meek's side or Game side, them cats already rich. You know what I'm saying? But I was just clowning. I said, "What's your take on?" I asked him. I said, "Man, you been peeping this Meek Mill's Game thing?" And he said, "Man, I don't mess with that. I don't mess with Game." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "His name is The Game. How can you take him seriously?" And I was like, "Whoa, I didn't even think about that." He said, "How can you take somebody seriously and their name is The Game? The game is something you play, right?"
Yeah. But
that's kind of when
you can't take Meek Mill seriously. The meek shall inherit the earth. Meek Mill.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I look at it, man. I look at it. Somebody said a long time ago. I think Pimp C quoted it. He said, "Man, this rap thing is kind of like the WWF or WWE. It's kind of like you pick what character you want to be this week, but the names and personalities could change within the next couple of months." And I think Game has been a good representative of that to show you that he survived in the era of beefs. He has a long listing of people that he's beefed with in rap and hip hop. And I think that, like you said, Dame, it's more of a propaganda type thing. Anytime these cats get projects coming out, you kind of got to get the industry bubbling a little bit. And I'm like, what else has Game done? I mean, not knocking the Game. I think he's a talented artist, but I'm like, what else has he done besides publicize beef when it's time for him to do something? But he said that he's not really publicity, that he just had a problem with Meek. And I'm like, at the same time, who hasn't had a problem with Meek since Drake kind of exposed that he really wasn't the rebuttaler that we thought he would be? I don't know. What's your take on it, man? I know what I think about it.
I'm like, first of all, I know Meek can't afford another loss. You lost to Drake. You lost to Little Light Skin singing Canada Boy. You definitely can't. He got more L's than James Todd Smith, huh? But the thing is, he's a little bit too old. It's like, man, leave these young kids.
I was thinking the same thing, dog.
These dudes is too young. That's like you in college and you going back to your old high school to bully freshmen.
Hey, you said it, but think about this, Dame. I said the same thing. Game is a generation of rappers ahead of Meek. I mean, say, right? Game is at least 10 years ahead of Meek, right? I thought so, because Game came out in 2005, and he survived the 50 beef when he did the G-Unit and all that. So he's kind of like an elder statesman of the beef, if you ask me. So I'm like, it's kind of like taking a step down and say, let me come at the young boys a little bit, because Meek and Game is at least a good 10 years generation gap in rap.
Yeah, around there. And it got to be. That's why it never looks good when the older dudes is beefing with these young cats. It's like, first of all, you come from a different era and you're cut from a different cloth. And the stoop down. Yeah, and to stoop down to these dudes' level beefing.
The beef with Sean Kingston too. He beefed with. He was with. So to me, even speaking at Sean Kingston for Game, I was like, Sean Kingston. I almost forgot it. I mentioned it to somebody. I said, what's Game beefing with Sean Kingston? And somebody actually said, who's that? And I'm like, Sean Kingston had the one song, and I couldn't remember the name of the song.
Yeah, didn't Sean Kingston come from like the Disney Network? I think he was on when he was younger. Yeah,
he's a writer for Justin Bieber. He writes with Justin Bieber.
Yeah, that's like me having beef with some kid at my daughter's high school. Like, come on, I'm a grown man. I'm not going to beef with a child. And if it came to the point where I had to put I'm just going to smack the hell out of you. I ain't going to be this.
But you know what? Indeed, but even if I'm going to say something, even if you smacked him, you're not looking for respect for that. You're like, it's a 15-year-old kid. Like, I'm almost old to be your big brother, be your dad. Like, exactly. So it's the same thing. It's like, so I don't even want points for that. I'm really just checking you to let you know, like, listen, you don't disrespect your elders type of slap. It's not even like I slapped him like I want respect for that. Because you're like, I'm supposed to beat up a 15-year-old.
Yeah. Unlike Cat Williams. He got choked out by the kid.
Whose child is this? Whose baby is this? No, but I kind of related it to it because I don't want to go off topic too much, but I just kind of have to speak on it off top because it's been the subject matter of the past couple of days, and when I looked at it and I evaluated it before it happened, and I just want to flip the script a little bit more and go to my man Beans when Beanie Siegel kind of got involved, and I'm like, oh man, it just really went from bad to worse. And then I seen Beans got knocked out, and I'm like, oh. I really thought for a minute, like you said, Dame, I was thinking like, okay, we in a different era. You talking about the Broad Street Bully getting knocked out? Beans? Bean Mac?
Yeah. Well, they say no matter how tough you are, there's always somebody out there tougher.
Yo, but
Usually
D, I
think,
seen the
oh, no one
footage,
can
and
knock me out. Yeah,
you know what? I seen
somebody
the
out
footage,
there.
man. It was a one, huh?
It was a one punch.
It was a one-hitter quit on Beans.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But people
Oh,
saw the same thing about when Suge Knight got knocked out by a
yeah,
barber
you're
and a
right.
bartender.
It
This was the bully.
it was knocked out cold. Like
people
they
were
had to
terrified
revive
of Suge.
Suge.
Yeah,
Wow.
they had to put the
You know
smelling
what?
sauce under his nose.
That's what I was talking about. I had to revive him. You know the thing about it is that when I looked at Beans' footage and the guy hit Beans, and I'm thinking like after, because Beans was performing during the Bad Boy reunion show with Puff. So I'm thinking like the guy hit Beans like after the event was over with. They're saying Beans got knocked out before he performed. So I'm like, he got up after the knockout and performed. Like, yo, I got to give Beans points on that.
Hey, the show must go on.
But yo, I'm not laughing because I'm a.
But it's funny. He's like, let me
Listen,
on stage.
Man, listen, I'm a Beans fan, and I really don't respect a cat sucker punching nobody. You know, that's another thing that I said. I think you from New York, man. So you always say when they say let's shoot the fair one.
Oh yeah.
You know that's kind of like, yo, let's take a head up. Like I'm not gonna sneak you. You know, we're gonna come straight up like men. But I was like, yo, when I found out the cat didn't really shoot the fair one with Beans, he didn't go straight up. He like side punched him off the side from the blind side. You know, I'm like, do you really count that as Beans getting dropped? I'm like, yo, you got sucker punched. You know, it happens. I've been sucker punched before. You know what I'm saying?
Nowadays, though, that's how dudes live.
Wow.
They live to steal on a nigga. Just come out of nowhere, hit him while he ain't looking, because they're afraid that, okay, you may punch this dude, but what if that punch don't knock him out? It's like, it's easy to knock somebody out with a punch they don't see coming. But if you could see it and you're prepared for it, he takes that shot and now he's coming after you. You may not be able to take the punch. So
that might be the best thing you got.
Yeah. So you like, shoot, this is my best
weapon.
Let me sneak him, get it in.
And then you know what though? You made a good point though, D. If you sneak somebody, you need to drop them because they don't see that coming. And that's your best bow. That's your best. And you don't drop them, it's like, what do you do after that? Because this is the thing about it. Like I said, this wouldn't have happened to Beans if we talking about Beans 10 years ago. We wouldn't be talking about this right now.
Oh, no. And see, that's another
thing. We're talking about Beans like 100 pounds lighter right now, right? He's like 100 pounds lighter?
Probably something like that. But he's also older. And that's what a lot of these older cats got. You know, we all may have had a nice knuckle game back in the day, but you get that 35, 40. Them hands slow down. That reaction time slows down. You get hit with one of these young cats that know how to throw his hands, you're going to get caught. Now, the old
and not just that. Like, these cats is doing this all day, every day. You know, you got Beans has been out here, but he's been making money, he's working. He's trying to reestablish himself just from coming out and getting shot like a year and a half ago. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get back out and get back into the game from being locked down. You know, I don't think Beans really been on that now, you know, because he sounds like an elder statesman. When I heard he had an interview today and he spoke on it. And what he said is that, yo, the cat really didn't hit me. He said, we didn't go one-on-one. We didn't go head up. You know, the guy caught me from the blind side, and I was like, yo, I mean, myself, I'm like, oh, I don't even count that. Even though everybody laughing like it's funny and all that, man, I really don't, because I'm like, man, you don't really respect no cat coming from the blind side. If you're going to man up, man, you're going to get, like you said, you're going to shoot the fair one. You're going to say, yo, I got an issue. Let's go ahead and catch this real quick.
Yeah. I mean, people laugh because everybody likes to see folks get knocked out. YouTube's full of videos like that. But in truth, it's like, it's not funny. I'll laugh if someone just straight up, if they was fighting head up and you get your ass whooped, yeah, I'm going to laugh at you, because especially if you tough and then they handed you like sticky fingers back in the day in the boxing and the white boy beat him down.
And you've seen it coming.
Yeah, you've seen it coming. You took a loss. That's funny. But if somebody sucker punch you, that ain't funny, because nobody wants that to happen to them. Somebody come and sucker punch them and knock them out.
Yeah, what you expect? And the thing about it, too is that I was about to say this, that from what I heard is that he's not really 100%. He's like on some medicated and different things like that. But this is the thing, though, man. You get a lot of cats that always know when you're in your prime, they won't step to you. But it's kind of like now in boxing. You know, you got somebody who would call out Mike Tyson right now, but they know better than call Tyson back out when Tyson was, you know, fresh out the joint before he went in. It's kind of like when I think about the Lennox Lewis fight. When Tyson took the Lennox Lewis fight, I'm like, man, Lennox would not have taken Tyson earlier than that. Pre-Tyson, before the penitentiary, my opinion is that Lennox Lewis wouldn't have won that fight.
No, nobody was beating early Tyson. That's a hard task. A lot of dudes tried, and everybody got knocked out. But by the time he got up to Lennox Lewis, life had already beaten him down. He was in prison.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, your wife divorced you. She made your life hell. Her mama made your life hell. Then society and the media was dogging you, calling you all kind of names and everything. Life had beat him. Life already knocked him out.
Yeah.
So when he got in that fight with Lewis and when he fought Holyfield, they was fighting ghosts. That's what they was fighting. You was fighting just a dude that was in there trying to get a paycheck.
And pretty much Buster Douglas was the first one that really caught him at that time. I think after that, before that Buster Douglas fight, Mike said that he had just buried his friend.
Yeah, Mike was when he got to that Buster Douglas fight, he was going through the divorce or about to go through the divorce with Robin Givens. So that was a nightmare. He wasn't getting paid.
And he didn't train. He didn't train properly.
Yeah, his mind, he was back. He went back to the old neighborhood back in Brooklyn, hanging with the street cats again, doing things he wasn't supposed to. That's how he got into the fight with Mitch Green, lumped him up. So by the time Buster got lucky, Buster had a lucky night because the next title defense when Buster, I think he fought Holyfield, he got his ass handed.
Yeah,
so he got lucky. Yeah, he fought a Tyson. Like I said, life has already had Tyson on the ropes. He was going down for the count. So you just fighting a heavy bag with arms.
And the bad thing about it is that fight with Mike is that if you remember that, they counted Mike out real quick before he was trying to reach for his mouthpiece, bro. They did him dirty.
Oh, yeah. They wasn't going to. And prior to that, he had not busted Douglas down, and that count was kind of slow.
I saw that.
Actually, Buster Douglas was down for like a 13 count. But, you know.
Yeah, because he got him like on an 8 count. So he got on, supposed like an 8 count, he got up.
Yeah, but when they checked it because the ref had to look back at the guy by ringside who was counting because he was checking to make sure Mike Tyson got back in his corner. And then the referee picks up the count from the outside man. But when they did it, when you check out the slow motion for it, it was like a 13 count. He was down for like 13 seconds, but they said, oh, he was only down for 8 or he got up by the 9 count. No, he didn't. He was out of there. That fight should have been over, but that's the politics of sports, especially when Don King's involved and everything. They saw Tyson was the sinking ship. So they knew they had to move that championship on and kind of just.
And Robin Givens pretty much ripped his heart out.
Yeah. So that was the end. That's how the system works. 1 minute you on top of the world, next minute niggas don't even know you. Wow,
and that's the crazy thing about it is that I think about it, and just tying it back into music is that Beans said something about Meek. He said that right now Meek, he said he tried to talk to Meek before the guy sucker punched him. Beans was like, yo, he said, I tried to talk to him. Beans was like, yo, but he's not going to listen. Beans like, this dude is way younger than me. He said right now Meek is on his high. He said he hasn't really felt the decline of coming like this. This is not going to happen. This is not going to stay the same your whole career. Like Beans said, Beans was like, yo, you're not going to stay like this the whole time. And Beans is like, right now he's not humble because he's not feeling that. He said you with Nikki, you're still feeling your success. And Beans is like, it's really nothing I can say to that cat right now. Like it's just he's in a different space. And one thing I respected about it that Beans was like, yo, he said Meek has kind of been uncomfortable ever since the Drake situation. He was like, yo, he told Meek like, yo, you coming at this dude and this dude is a pop star. He said he's not a rapper. He was like, Drake is a pop star. He was like, there's nothing you can do to ridicule this man about not having writers. He was like, he's not coming from a hip-hop street perspective. He's the pop star. He said, as long as he performs the record well, his fan base does not care if he wrote it or not.
Yep. All they want him to do is keep cranking out them hits. That's it.
Yeah. And Beans is like, let's be real. He said, even if he ain't writing it, he said the shit that he dropping is hot. His audience is eating it up. He was like, you're not going to, he told me, you're not going to overshadow this dude.
Yeah, that's especially because Meek Mill's not even close to that level. Drake is I'm filling stadiums. I'm not doing local clubs and concert venues. I'm headlining shows. I'm doing like 30,000 people. You're not on that level. It's different if you was like a Kendrick Lamar or even a J. Cole. Dudes that are up there.
Drake got a country.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is Drake got a country behind it.
Yeah. He got country. He got a bunch of screaming young girl fans, some guy fans. He's big right now. So you can't compete with that. And then plus, it's like, and people know, say, oh yeah, Meek is dope. He more lyrical, whatever, or he more street than Drake. Oh yeah, he's all of those things. But that doesn't matter in today's world.
Nah. Yeah, that's true. And that's kind of what I mean. If I can go ahead and segue into the topic of the show, it's crack and rap. And I'm gonna be real with you, is that I kind of stumbled across the topic because I was looking at some footage last night, and I was looking at a documentary that was hosted by Ice-T, and it was just talking about the rap era, the hip hop era, and crack. And it really dawned on me. I'm like, wow, it kind of emerged at the same time. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, the crack era and the hip-hop era kind of coincided with each other, And if you look at a lot of the groups.
The crack era.
What were you saying?
The crack era kind of like, it changed hip-hop. Like hip-hop was going on before then. You had your Grandmaster Flashes. You had the Cold Crush Brothers and Treacherous Three.
Got the message and everything kind of talking about.
Yeah, crack changed the game. See, I grew up in it. I remember because I was growing up in the Bronx, in the projects, and I could almost remember when crack first came on the scene, how even for the projects, it changed. Like at night, you couldn't go outside. Like we couldn't play outside no more once the lights went off because them crackheads come out. It's like zombie land out there. They everywhere and they were fiending. Women are literally selling their baby Pampers for some crack. Dudes would sell you the clothes right off their back if they thought they could get a hit. So it was bad. And then it brought on the whole gang situation. Before then, dudes would get into fights. At the worst, somebody gets stabbed. If somebody got shot, it was kind of like one of those last resort. Yeah, this is what it came down to. But when crack came on the scene, man, people was getting shot for nothing. You just be in the wrong place. Innocent bystanders all the time. So crack changed it. And actually, hip hop tried to at the beginning. Hip hop was probably one of the reasons why a lot of kids didn't smoke crack, because a lot of the big rappers then was talking about how crack was whack.
They were against crack.
Yeah, they was really against. I mean, you had rats like Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, Rakim, Bismarcky. All these dudes was talking about it, and it was kind of like we listened to them because these were our idols. So it was like, yeah, crack is whack. And then you would see people that you knew from the neighborhood. Hey, a year ago, she was a young, pretty thing. Everybody was trying to holler at her. Now it's like, oh man, your skin's all wrinkled up, you're skinny, everything is sagging, your teeth are missing.
Yeah. Eyes all black around the eyes and shit.
Yeah.
Used to be prom queen and just prom fiend.
And very true statement. Very true. It was like everything. I remember having to walk.
You know what?
When I was young, I was
like,
okay. When I was young in the project, I lived on the 4th floor. My step-grandma lived on the 7th. I remember having to walk up the steps, and my mom would stand at the steps and yell upstairs to make sure I got up there, because the fiends would actually be up in the steps turning tricks and robbing people that was coming from their apartments. That's how bad it was.
That's crazy. So it was a new drug people had to have, and they'll do anything for it.
anything. Literally, people got
And that's the crazy thing about it, because when you look at some of the bigger urban cities, like New York or Los Angeles or Chicago and things like that, is that you think about it is that a lot of people commute, in the streets. There's not a lot of people driving. So you like you said, you're on the subway. It's a lot of people doing a lot of face-to-face contact, so to speak. So that drug was pretty much just ruthless. When I hear stories about it early in the era, is that it was even kids that were hooked on it. Like, it was kind of like a recreational drug. It was like marijuana is today when it first came out.
Yeah, it was like a party thing, folks getting high because it was the cheaper alternative to cocaine. Cocaine was expensive, and if you from the hood, you couldn't afford coke like that. So crack gave you a similar, I guess, kind of high to it, but it was way cheaper, but it was super addictive. So folks was getting hooked on that one hit, and people's lives changed overnight. Folks wind up stealing from their families, like I said, selling their baby Pampers, people selling the furniture out their apartments. It was absolutely crazy. But, the good thing that came out of it for the hip-hop side was you got a lot of, that's when your Public Enemies was out, your Tribe Called Quest, your De La Souls were on the scene, your Brand Nubians, Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah popped up. Everybody started becoming Afrocentric, X-Clan. Things started to become pro-black, and, it was the big slogan, crack is whack, just say no, the whole Nancy Reagan campaign. But all these things was thrown at you saying, like, yeah, this drug is whack. And then when you saw it firsthand, it reinforced those words like, yeah, I ain't trying to smoke that. Now, you had a lot of dudes that would sell it because the money was fantastic at those times. But a lot of people was like, nah, I ain't smoking this stuff. This stuff is devastating.
Man, and that's the thing about it. Like I said, I hear a lot of these new rappers talking about popping mollies and all this other stuff. Really, don't get me wrong, because hip hop has always been really loosely based around neighborhood activity, like people getting off on shit to get them over their pain. So we know we already been, we already promote alcoholism. We already promote marijuana. That's been, that's been connected with hip hop since the beginning. But when we think about hard drugs like crack and all the other stuff, heroin and things like that, it's like we always had a borderline. We always had a limit to where, like, okay, I may smoke a little weed, but I ain't messing with that. It seems like cats are a little bit more experimental these days, with things, because, with rock and roll and heavy metal and things like that, you can listen to the music and you can already tell what's going on, its influence. You hear it in the music, man. And I think a lot of things, like right now, people talk about mumble rap and talk about a lot of this stuff that's going on, a lot of this shit that's going on in hip-hop today. I mean, you know what? Let me quit. I can't even say hip-hop. I mean rap, man. I got to separate the two, man. A lot of shit that's going on in rap today that people hear, and they don't really connect it. They don't really connect it with the drugs. And I'm like, yo, you think a lot of these, like, let's be real, D. Yo, Lil Wayne, one of a legend in the rap game. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the shit that Wayne did, a lot of the shit that Eminem did in the beginning of his career, it's like they were more prominent when they were on drugs. And I'm not trying to promote it like that's the shit, but I'm just saying that it got so much of a connectivity with rap today of the newer era, because we had people more against the drug back then, and then you had more people on the drug as the era went on and went on. We went from fighting it and, fight the power and, crack is whack. You had different things about it in the earlier days. Love Gonna Get You, Boogie Down Productions and things, man. And then you had people that's promoting the shit. Like now, so I hear like French Montana, you hear Young Jeezy, you got T.I. and Cass. So like we went from being activists against the crack to like, yo, we promote the shit like, yo, this is what's making us money now. And then you got more cats now talking about that they're more of a hustler than they are a rapper. Because I'm like, okay, if you more of a hustler than a rapper, then why the hell you rapping? Because this should be a demotion for you if you're selling that much crack to come and rap.
Yeah. If you're big time like that, a lot of these dudes try to make it seem like they Pablo Escobar and they got $1 billion with their own private island. It's like, come on, you're not. First of all, nobody's buying crack like that. Crack is not even selling close to what it was doing in them late 80s, in them 80s and mid 80s and late 80s and early 90s. Crack is not selling like that. It's the same fiends just getting twice as high nowadays. So it's like, stop bragging. And the thing that gets it, why drugs has become like this new fad, is because the media, the producers, the people that put this music out, that put the images out, they changed the scene. See, crack was always associated with the hood, with the ghetto, with black folks, with Hispanics, with minorities, poor white folks. That's what they associate with, and nobody wanted to be connected with that. But now when you talk about Molly or ecstasy or lean, it's always, when you hear rappers talk about, they always in a party or they driving some fancy car, it's always associated with something successful or something of status. Oh yeah, I'm driving in my Bugatti and I'm drinking this lean, or I got a chick in the passenger seat and she's high off of like 3 Mollies and it's fun and she's half naked and we going to the club and champagne is popping. Yeah, they promoting the lifestyles change. So now when people see it, or especially younger generation, they don't see the drug as, oh, that's some hood shit, that's some ghetto shit. No, they see it as, that's the club shit. That's what I take before I go out.
That's what rappers do now. So now that they associate it with a part of hip hop now.
Yeah, and it changed the dynamic.
And you know what? And hold that thought. We're gonna hit back on that, man, because now we digging in the crates right now as far as where this is going, you know. And I just want to say thank y'all listeners for tuning in to the Royal Flush. We're gonna take a quick break real quick, and we're gonna come back with my man Rob Orton. He's another native New Yorker like yourself, B. And we're going to kind of get back on this subject, man. Crack and rap. Yo, you listening to Yessurr FM, Soul Metro Radio. This is James Ford for the Royal Flush. Yo, check us back in a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break. We out. Yeah. Top until he fades back in. We were just hitting on the crack and rap. You know, I was telling my man Dame here that I was looking at a documentary last night, and then I think Ice-T narrated it or whatnot, and he was talking about pretty much crack and hip hop and how it's connected and did things like that. And then we were just kind of shedding light on how we went from being against it to as far as promoting it now. Like, it's a whole generation gap on how it first started with, like, you know, we wasn't fucking with it, but now it's like Cash is like, yeah, you know, I'm trapping. I'm a trapper, not a rapper type shit.
You know, and second that, man, it's like we went from hip hop being a culture to hip hop being just like dance music. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of like threw everything off. And you know, the radios these days, they adjust, they making us adjust to what's out there. Like, you know, you just put something on repetitive and just play it over and over and over. Eventually, it's gonna cling to you. You know, and that's what they do with these artists out here, man. First of all, they don't promote good artists.
I think I have two ways. I have two ways with it. Y'all can't just correct me if I'm wrong, because I mean, I always tell people this. I said I can't completely shit on it as far as the dance aspect, because it's called hip hop, so it's about the movement at the same time. But the thing that got us around the disco era, because we came after disco, if I'm not mistaken, but the thing what got us through the disco era is the fact that if we would have just kept it just a hip hop, the hippie, the hop, you don't. If we never would have evolved it to the message, because the message came out the Sugar Hill Gang, and they was like, oh, shit's like a struggle sometimes. I mean, if we would have never put substance in the shit, to me, it would have just been a remix of disco. It would have been like, oh, this is some dance shit. It's gonna fade in and fade out. But the fact that we layered substance behind the music, that's the shit that kept us going. I tell people all the time, like when Cool Mo D came and took the mic from Busy B, the shit changed completely. You know, when he was like, yo, Busy B, that Bob Diddy Bob, the bang bang, that shit is cool, but yo, I got some shit to say on this motherfucking mic. That's when the shit like, whoa, hold on. You mean we can advertise this shit to actually say some other shit besides just making the party rock while the DJ is kicking breaks? Like, we can actually talk about some shit that's going on outside of that, because I think the message was from what I know, the message was the first thing that we like, yo, we can still sell this shit and still talk about something, because like somebody said, it's like hip-hop is the nigga news. That's what it's supposed to be.
Pretty much.
On top of a dope-ass beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him know,
but some, what was that?
It's like hip hop. I don't have a problem.
I said, let him know, pioneer that.
Yeah, he did. What you saying, D?
Nah, I said
let him know, pioneer that one.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
But today's hip hop, it's like, I don't mind. Let the kids have what they have. But it's like today's culture there's no choice. When I was coming up, they fucking had MC Hammer playing on the radio all the time, but you didn't have to listen to that. You could have if you wanted to listen to Public Enemy, that's what you listened to. If you wanted to listen to Vanilla Ice, that's what you listened to. You had choices. Exactly. Nowadays, there's no choice. Everybody sounds the same, so it's like, who do you pick from? If I listen to Future, he sounds like 5 other rappers.
Designer.
Designer. Pretty much.
Yo, it fucked me up when I found out Designer was from Brooklyn. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
He fucked you up. I was like, I couldn't believe that shit, bro.
It's a damn.
But the shit that got me,
I was listening to
the shit that got me
back in New York
a
little while ago. I think it was Hot 97, and I could have swore it sounded just like stations here. I'm like, what? This ain't New York music. What the fuck is
the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, this ain't where I grew up at. What the fuck? I already know they turned New York into Disneyland for shit. The music too.
When I visited NY, man, I said the same thing. I said it was certain, it's still like, I remember growing up, you know what I'm saying, when you wanted to listen to that raw hip-hop, you had to wait till late night to listen to it, like Special K and Teddy Ted back in those days. You know what I'm saying? And that was the first time I heard the Ultramagnetic MCs and people like that, you know? That was the first time I heard them. The first time I heard Boogie Down Productions was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
And that shit is crazy because you waited with your tape cassette with the tissue in the hole so you can record that shit. And the funny thing about now, when people call in and they demand for the DJs to request shit, I'm looking like, what are y'all calling in for? You know they gonna play the same shit y'all calling. Y'all not calling for them to play no shit you ain't heard. Y'all, yo man, can you play that Drake? You like, you motherfucker, they gonna play that shit.
Yeah. It's become, I mean, it's always been a business, but it's become more of let's promote this artist so we can push these shows, and which is good, but it leaves no room for the new talent.
Yeah.
It leaves no room for the new talent. The underground has always been, in my opinion, the cornerstone of hip hop.
Yeah.
It's always been the cornerstone of hip hop. You know, even like this new joint they got out on Netflix, The Get Down.
Yeah, The Get Down. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard about it.
Yo, let me tell you something. That is a tutorial on hip hop for a lot of the young cats. The Get Down is a good tutorial, man. It's like the
they needed to see that.
Yeah. Because it really brought to light how hip hop got started. It brought it brought out the 4 elements. You know, the graffiti, the dance, the hip hop, the DJ. The DJ was introduced. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they need to know that. You know, I mean, it's more than just going to a studio, throwing Pro Tools on and doing what you do. Like a lot these dudes these days is dropping albums and you don't hear a scratch or nothing.
No, I told my boy this the other day because he was telling me that somebody I knew had a mixtape. So I just went all out with it. I said, well, who DJ is hosting it? He was like, nobody. I said, okay, so it's not mixed. So I asked him, I said, what joints? What classes is he rhyming over? Oh, no, I think he's got the original shit. I said, that's not a mix. That's a project, bro. That's not a mixtape. I said, no DJ's mixing on that shit. Nobody's actually cutting on it. It's not a mix. I said, and the thing about it is that if he's not rhyming over classics, if it's not mixed in with shit you love already and that you're familiar with, then it's not a mixtape. I said, what the fuck he's doing is a side project, bro. Let's call it what it is. Quit horning the mixtape name on that shit. Yeah, I said because it's not a mixtape. It's not being. Exactly. I said call it what it is. It's a side project.
That's exactly what it is.
But you know what? 50 Cent changed that shit. I'm gonna tell you this, man.
You look for a mixtape. You go look. You was anticipating certain dudes' mixtapes like Doo Wop, SNS.
Yeah.
You waited for a Red Alert joint to come out. A Funk Flex.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, this is
Ron G.
Ron G.
Yeah.
When they dropped, you wanted that joint because they had all the hot artists on there that was out at the time on their joint. The DJs mixing, they got dope beats. Dudes is freestyling over new stuff. Nowadays, a dude basically, like you said, he's putting out kind of like a test album before he puts out his main project.
And it ain't nobody hosting that shit. There's no scratching. There's no cutting in that shit. And I'm like, bro, the whole reason they call it a mix is because it's mixed over shit you love already with a DJ on that shit. I said, bro, but when you just own that shit, you self-hosting that shit yourself. I said, bro, that's a project. But that's the thing about it. Like I said, it's a generation gap. That's what I was going at and saying that I think 50 Cent kind of changed it because when 50 Cent came in and 50 kind of started doing his versions of songs over other people's shit, it was still kind of a mixtape, but it was a different fashion. And cats have still been running with that same shit that 50 set up. And I'm like, bro, I said, really, what you're doing is not a mixtape. You're doing a side album. Like you said, you're doing a pre-album. But that's the thing about it. Like I said, is that a lot of cats are in the game right now, and they're just running with shit they know nothing about. That's what's so funny when I told somebody asked me this one time, and I let them listen to some shit, and they was like, yo, oh man, you do hip-hop. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, but the way you rhyme is like real hip-hop. I said, yeah, but it's rap. I said, rap. I said, motherfuckers gotta stop thinking that hip-hop is another form of rap. I said, rap comes off the hip-hop tree, dog. It's not like they're at cahoots with each other like one over the other. I said, no, motherfucker. When you tell me that you don't do hip hop, like cats be like, you don't fuck with hip hop. I'm like, nigga, you rapping, so you are hip hop, motherfucker. Like hip hop is not a style of rap. Yeah.
It's not. It's a difference. People forget that back in the day, the DJ was the man. The MC was his sidekick.
That's right.
One there to hype up the DJ and hype up the crowd. That's where he was there. But the DJ was the main event.
Yeah, and the DJ was the one that introduced the new rapper.
Yeah.
He
introduced the new rapper.
That was the dope shit. But that's
in order for that DJ to introduce you, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna pay this DJ so I could get because the money didn't mean anything if you sucked, because that was his reputation on the line.
Yo. I learned a lot of shit because when I was looking at a lot of those documentaries, they would like a lot of their MCs were not only just rhyming, the motherfuckers were telling people that, yo, if you driving a so-and-so Honda out front, your shit's getting towed right now. They was like informing people on shit what was going on through the night. They was communicating with motherfuckers on every level. Like, yo, hey, somebody's mom's at the front door. Yo, if Tony D is in here, yo, your mom's at the front door. Like, shit, I'm like, whoa, I got educated on that shit.
Yeah, that was the MC job. He also was there to tell the people when the next party was going to be, where it was going to be at, who was going to be there. Yep. He was the DJ's hype man.
Wow. And that's the thing. And that's the thing about it because
into it, they started getting into the forefront when they started not only just hyping up the DJ, but putting little rhymes with it. That's when that little competition became, because when other DJs had a MC doing it, then that MC would, make up a rap about the DJ, about the party, whatever. And then the MC started to come up and take the forefront.
And this is the thing that got me, man. Somebody had mentioned this. I forgot what rapper did it, but he mentioned something that made a lot of sense, and I tripped out on the shit because he said, "Yo, listen." He said, "If you born after this year here, 1980, so quote unquote, 9 times out of 10, you were a crack baby." And he was like, "Let's just be real. The crack era was heavy from this year to that year. Chances are that 9 out of 10 of these motherfuckers that's rhyming right now was crack babies." He said, so you're expecting that a motherfucker that's kicking the shit that he's kicking, the way you're hearing these rhymes and the way you're hearing a lot of the shit that's formatted now are coming from people who have no IQ or give a fuck about what hip-hop stood for, where it came from. You got a lot of these cats that came from the crack era that are rapping right now, because we're talking about 22, 23. So you're looking at 1986, 1991, 1992, heavy crack era at that point in time. Now these cats are 22, 23 years old, and you're wondering why they rhyming the way they rhyme. He was like, yo, these cats, a lot of these cracks are crack babies. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even think about that shit.
That it's facts, man. It's facts.
And he said that's why the music sounds the way it sounds. But one thing about it is that I always learned that once you're 25, once you're over 25 in hip hop, you're already a fossil. That's what's crazy. And I heard somebody say, yo, man, my favorite rapper, old school artist was T.I. I'm like, I heard somebody say T.I. was an old school artist. And I'm like, yo, this motherfucker's only 34 years old. So what the fuck is Big Daddy Kane? Is this nigga, is Kane dead already? Like, what the fuck is Melly Mel? What the fuck, I'm just looking like, yo, if T.I. old school at 34, like what the fuck is everybody before him and him and him? And the thing that fucked me up is that fact that I'm like, how can you apply for a job? That's like you going to McDonald's, man. And before you get the job, they lay out orientation so you're familiar with the company before you even decide that you want to take a job here. Hip hop is the same way. You can't come into this shit not knowing who the fuck Kool Herc is, and you say you want to consider yourself a rapper or you want to do this shit. Like, yo, you got to be orientated first, dog. You can't take this job until we let you know how the company started, man.
Exactly.
That's like you come in and say, man, fuck McDonald's, man, fuck Ronald McDonald, fuck who started, man, just give me my check. You can't start no job like that.
Yeah.
And hip hop should be the same way. You can't come in and shit on the culture. And say, I asked somebody a long time ago. I said, yo, I told my nephews. He was telling me how he liked this person and that person. I said, oh yeah. I said, man. I said when I came up, I told him, I said, Big Daddy Kane was my favorite rapper, my favorite MC. And then he was like, who was that? I said, hey, bro. I said, don't write another rap until you go listen to Big Daddy Kane. And before you listen to Big Daddy Kane, don't even write another rap until you go listen to Grandmaster Cash.
That's right.
Because it's disrespectful saying, hey, I love Kevin Durant. Well, yeah, have you ever heard of Moses Malone? Oh, man, who the fuck is that old ass nigga?
Yeah,
it's a gap. It's a gap. Yeah.
Yeah, like hip hop just started yesterday, and nothing came before it. Like, come on now. Pull your heads out your ass and know that people like KRS-One is still rapping to this day. Grandmaster Cash still makes videos.
It's still nice. And
still touring, still making money. That's the thing about it. What's wrong with the States, bro? If you ask the state, to me, with the States, is that we already shit on stuff that came out 5 years ago. We call it old school already. And I'm like, how the fuck something came out 5 years ago is throwback? That's not even throwback. I'm like, bro, that's still in the same era. It's not even something 5 years ago is not even a decade old yet.
But that don't apply in the UK, In the UK, they're not like that out there. Like that's why a lot of the artists, when they don't get no shows in the US, they go to the UK and they eat.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
I seen the tour where MC Hammer was talking about how much he makes overseas, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Or like Hammer? Yeah, and I seen someone Naughty by Nature, and Tretch was like, yo, he said all our shows is overseas. He was like, yo, he was like, every time we think about dropping a new Naughty by Nature album, we get called on tour. And he said the money we make on tour, we like, yo, why risk what you do? Why risk the brand of what you do to try to put music out in this current climate when we're already still getting paid double that just to do our old shit?
That's right.
Yeah.
That only that only applies in the U.S.
overseas.
And you ain't got to worry about getting Naughty by Nature featuring Drake or some shit. Like, you ain't got to worry about who you going to put on the album. That was the thing about Tribe Called Quest. I tell people all the time. I said, you know what I loved about hip hop in the early era then is that you had motherfuckers who was cool with each other. I love the camaraderie, but you didn't have to have Tribe Called Quest. They didn't have to get easy on the fucking song. Tribe had their own lane, even though they probably was cool with other rappers. You're like, bro, you can't merge everybody together. That's what I hate about now. Like, everybody. It's cool that everybody's showing love, but I'm like, bro, sometimes you like, yo, I respect what you do, but my brand is here. Like, I don't have to put Redman on the track with fucking Fooshnickens back in the 90s because I love Fooshnickens, but I love Redman. But when I got a Redman album, it was a Redman album. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have to have 12 other motherfuckers on there.
Yeah. Nowadays, you get these albums, and it's rare that you get. That's why it's a compilation. It's like you just you pretty much just getting a compilation album.
Yeah, it's compilation.
Everybody featuring everybody. Yep.
We all in the same game.
These dudes know they can't sell a damn. They couldn't go double wood by themselves, so they gotta jump on the track with somebody. Whoever's hot at the moment, they know they gotta jump on that track with them, or get on that mixtape so they can have some relevancy.
But I mean, there were some good eras back in the days that teams that got together, like the Native Tongue, like when they was together, they made their music and you knew they was down with each other and they collabed. But it was that group, it was that particular group of people. Like it was Leaders of the New, Tribe Called Quest, Latifah, Money Love. You know what I'm saying? Every time they dropped something, you knew they was dropping together.
But that's what makes you love Scenario, because you knew you weren't going to get that every album. You got it, and when you got it, it was a classic. But when they did Scenario, the next album came, they didn't try to repeat that shit. It was a classic. You appreciated it because it is what it was. You didn't have to worry about trying to get it every time the album dropped. You're like, yo, I love it because what it was. Like, that's my Illmatic. Illmatic was a classic because it was all Nas, man.
That's right.
You had AZ on the joint. Don't get me wrong, but what Nas had, like Large Professor, he had Pete Rock. You know what I'm saying? He had Q-Tip on there. Like he actually had producers that can rhyme. They could have rhymed on the shit, but they're like, nah, we want to hear you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric B and Rakim. You didn't hear Eric B drop a verse on that shit, man. It was all Rakim, man.
Oh wow. No, dude. I had no features in none of his joints.
Yeah,
hey, listen, I'm telling you this. I seen some fam, you know, listen, I seen some shit where I really respected these cats after this. Eric B and Rakim said that they had so many collaboration requests when they came because they was hot and they was killing it. He said, yo, we turned down so much shit because we had a style that we were sticking to. He said they even offered them to get on the Self-Destruction record, and Eric B and Rakim declined the Self-Destruction record. They said, nah. They said, we have a formula that we stick to, even though we can jump on that shit. They said, no, we keeping them craving from what we doing. So they said, we don't want to whore ourselves out jumping on every record, and I really had to respect that shit. I'm like, whoa.
And that's by himself.
Yeah, could be successful. He could be successful on his own. Same thing like EPMD.
Right.
The first joint, you ain't hear nobody on their stuff. It was just EPMD.
LL did one feature. I remember LL did a feature on the one song they did, and he wasn't even in the fucking video. But but that's kind of thing. Why? Yeah, that's kind of why I come in now. I look at it, like I said, when the crack and rap, and that's just kind of getting back on that. I was just kind of looking at how, like I was saying before you got on, Rob, is that how a lot of cats like Brand Nubian and Public Enemy and Boogie Down, a lot of cats would give you the street shit, but they would give you both sides of it. They would give you the glorification of it, but then they give you the consequences after they glorify it. Like I said, I listen to Love Gonna Get You like every fucking day, and I love it because KRS-One was pumping that shit. And when I listen to Love Gonna Get You, I listen to Boogie Down, I said, yo, this shit was like NWA, pre-NWA, but at the same time, you got a different side of that shit. Like, he told you why Love's Gonna Get You, but he gave you the same glorification of why you love this shit. And I said hip-hop was like that because it was always like, yo, I'm going to give you this, but at the end, I'm going to give you the other side of the story. But now, while I listen to a lot of these cats, I mean, and that's no knock on nobody, but I listen to the Jeezys, I listen to the Yo Gottis. Don't get me wrong, bro. I love the track. I love the production on a lot of this shit. And I catch myself, I have my ignorant moments. I'm like, yo, I'm bobbing to this shit. I know it's ignorant, but this shit knocking right now. The 808 is killing me right now. But I listen to the message, and by the time the song is over, I'm like, yo, if I'm a 12-year-old kid, you know, because I'm in my 30s too, so I'm looking like, yo, I'm an older man. I can decipher that this shit is just entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been living long enough. But a motherfucker that's 12, 13 years old and listen to this shit, they like, yo, this shit. They can't decipher between like, yo, he's just selling me some shit over a hot beat.
That's right. That's right. I haven't heard a hip-hop song that's out now that can even compare to like Slick Rick Children's Story. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, just another case about the war. I haven't heard nothing in this era that told the saga of the story and told why you shouldn't. Now, plenty of hip-hop songs back in the days talked about that cook life. You know what I'm saying? But they also talked about in the end that you shouldn't do it. There was a message behind it. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, you don't hear that message behind it. You don't hear that what could happen if you got into a situation like that. What you hear is you slinging that coke is the way to go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what's up?
No, I was saying because I was listening to some 3 minutes before that. When I listened to the White Lion song by Grandmaster Flash, that was the White Lion song, and I was listening to that shit, and I'm like, yo, this shit has been cool. Like, when I saw the date on the song, I'm like, it's really not anything new under the sun. And when I listened to this shit, I said, yo, crack has been that fucking demon, been that monkey in our back since hip hop, since the beginning of this shit. I said, but when I listen to the artistry in it, how do we go from saying, yo, we don't want no parts of this shit, it's ripping through our community? How do we go from being the healer to the dealer?
That's right. That's right. And I tell you, in this era that we in right now with the police shooting and killing, you know what I'm saying, black youth out there, I mean, quite honestly, we need a hip-hop artist that can come out and tell the story the way it needs to be told. You
need more Kendrick Lamars is what you're saying. You need more Kendrick Lamar. Right. You know, because when I look at it, when I look at that shit, I tell people, I say, listen, this is my problem when I say when people put the label gangster rap or they put the label conscious rap on it, they try to divide and conquer between us, man. When you think about that shit, man, NWA was a fucking conscious rap, or was a conscious rap group, bro. Fuck the gangster shit. The gangster shit came from the powers that be. NWA, Public Enemy, man, it was a different coast, and the way the message was delivered was a little different. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? It was Malcolm and Martin at the same time. You know what I'm saying? But when I look at a lot of the shit that we do, a lot of the labels that we put on shit that get put on us, are not labels that we actually derive and recreate. It comes from always, like, when you listen to that shit, East Coast, West Coast beef, that shit, the first time we heard that shit, it came from Vibe magazine, bro. That shit didn't exist before Vibe magazine put that shit out. They put East Coast, West Coast beef, and after they put that shit out there, every time you see an interview, it was the whitest of the white motherfucker. Like, so what do you think about the East Coast, West Coast beef? We look like y'all created this shit. We never heard that word.
That's right.
What do you think about gangster rap? And people are like, what's gang? I heard EZ say, what's gangster rap? He's like, we talk, this reality rap. It ain't gangster rap.
Right.
That's the label that the white media came up with. It was never gangster rap to us. It was like when you heard dudes like NWA, you heard dudes like Cool G Rap back in the day. They were street dudes talking about street shit, and it wasn't like they wasn't glorifying it. They was just telling you the reality of their world. And they was painting.
I think Schoolie D was doing it too, right?
Yes, Schoolie D too. He was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and early Ice-T and all of it. He was telling you like the aspect from the street hustling, the pimps, and what's going down. These were never gangster rap. That's just what the media labeled it because they needed to label the music that these young ghetto folks that they didn't like. They had to put it in a box, and you got to put it in a negative box. You can't say, "Oh, these kids they're doing something positive." They took all the music programs out of school. They stopped teaching kids instruments, but yet they still was able to create an art form and create a new lane of music. They didn't say none of that. They said, no, gangster rap. And this young black man killing other black men, and his gangs, and his dope, and his hookers, and his... They just wanted to paint that bad light. But what they failed to realize when it hit the suburbs and their little white children was getting hold of it, they loved it. They loved that the thug life that was going on.
Because it was like a movie.
Yeah, it was like a movie.
It was like
with a soundtrack.
It was like a movie to him. It was like a Quentin Tarantino movie and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, I used to see white kids rocking Malcolm X hats, rocking
listen,
African medallions. Like,
listen, somebody told me this, man. Somebody said this shit. They said, well, anytime any urban artist goes platinum, it's not just black people buying that shit.
Nope.
Anytime you sell a million, you know that it's not all black people buying that shit.
It's more white people at Public Enemy concerts than black.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. And you're right. After the Public Enemy, you know what fucked me up, man? Back in the late '90s, early 2000s, I had a homeboy, white cat, bro. And every time this group had a show, he was front row there, and he was there more than me. And I'm like, bro, I hadn't even went to a show yet. Dead Prez. When Dead Prez came out. They was like a new modern version of PE. Yo, they had so many white people at the Dead Prez show. It was just ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Hell, the fucking Roots. The Roots is on fucking Jimmy Kimmel right now, dog. Ain't that shit crazy?
Yeah.
The street cast from Philly, now you on late night television.
You don't get no black in the fucking Roots, man. The Roots would have to cross over, and people have to come to them. And I love the fact that you had somebody non-black that was like, yo, this is an ill-ass fucking band. When is the last time you had a band in hip-hop that said, yo, this is a fucking hip-hop band? You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. But when I think about shit like that, I feel like, that's funny. Yeah, that's what I always said, that the Roots were like the new version of Sonic. And that's the thing to me, because before that Sonic was Parliament, you know what I'm saying? But those are things that I feel like right now we can't forget those things, man. So that when people always say this, I don't like to sound like the older guy either, saying like, yo, man, I shit on all the new shit. But I'm like, man, I fuck with the new shit too. But at the same time, man, let's get past the 808 drum. Let's get past let's get past the simplistic hook and say, you know what? We can still coexist with what you guys do, but let's put a little bit of the origination back into the shit too, so it can last. Because I tell people, I say, listen, if rap loses its substance, it becomes disco music, bro.
That's right. That's right.
If we just make it all party and bullshit, as much as I love it, I'm like, bro, if it's all party and bullshit and no substance, it would have been gone a long time ago. The substance is what saved rap music, bro. Not hip-hop. Hip-hop's going to be it. But what saved rap music was the substance, the fact that after you had Sugar Hill Gang, you had fucking Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. And then Run DMC came and commercialized it with rock behind the shit to make them really respect it. So those were the key elements that saved it. Because they was ready to write it off after the Sugar Hill Gang came. They was like, oh, this is just some real party music. This is kind of like disco. And then the message came after that shit and was like, no, hold on. There's some shit going on right now we got to talk about. And that's what happened. I made them kind of key in, and then you had, like, everything came after that. You had Curtis Blow, Run DMC, to show them that, hey, we can take this to a million motherfuckers buying what we got to say. We can't lose that shit. We can't just make it all And that shit is cool. Don't get me wrong. I tell people this, man, when they try to shit on the cadence. I said, listen, bro. Bone Thugs and Harmony had a lot of shit I didn't understand what the fuck they was saying. I like the way they was saying this shit.
Right.
I said, but at the same time, we had generations. Das Effects came in with some shit. Don't get me wrong. Foo Snickers, we had groups and groups and groups and groups that you had fast rappers, you had mumble rappers. I said, but what you said, Dane, that made me think is that outside of Das Effects rapping 100 miles, 120 miles per hour, you had rappers who slowed it down. You had rappers that was in between. You had rappers that kind of had a little melody to the shit. We didn't just make it just say, hey, only this style is getting play on the radio. That's what kept it. I'm like, bro, it's cool to talk about crack. It's cool to talk about other shit that's going on in music, but let's make sure that we keep it 360 degrees of this shit, man, so we can keep this shit pumping.
I tell you what bothers me a lot, man, with hip-hop is I love the fact that every state, you know what I'm saying, has their own style of hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? But what my problem is New York is known for New York rap, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Carolinas and Georgia and Florida and all these other places in Texas is known for this style of rap. What bothers me is when a New York rapper is trying to sound like a Southern rapper. That's what gets on my nerves.
Like say
what you are.
Jersey.
Yeah, say what you are. Every state is going to get respected for what they do. You know what I'm saying? There's only very few artists that can come out of a state and everybody will kill to do a song with them. For instance, Scarface out in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like Ghetto Boys came out like everybody in the grandmother went to a song with Scarface. You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree.
It's very few artists that can do that.
I think this is what Happy said. Hip hop needs to keep its balance, and this is the thing about it, which I do agree on that. Because before anybody went to other coasts outside of New York, what we loved is the fact that we kind of got culture. We got a culture update on every fucking coast. So you had Texas kind of giving you game like, oh shit, I've never been to Texas. Oh, that's how it is. So when you got Compton come on, you're like, oh, I've never been to LA or Compton, but that's how it is. Okay, Chicago come on, I've never been to Chicago or Boston, but that's how it is. It always informed us. But if everybody kind of try to ride the same wave, you lose that. You kind of lose that IQ. Like, you know what? How do I need to carry myself when I come to New York? How do I carry myself when I'm out in Florida? Oh, this is what Texas is on. Because think about this. Well, NWA, man, niggas be coming to California and get smoked for not knowing what the fuck is going on. But what hip-hop did, it educated us and said, hey, you know what? When you down here, this how they move. When you up here, state, this how you move. When you're in this borough, this how you move. When you're in this ward in New Orleans, this how we move. So what happened is that hip-hop educated us, so we like, yo, we know the street culture because hip-hop has always been street connected. But what I loved about everybody having their own style and everybody staying true to what that coach did is that it let us know how to move when we go different places.
That's right. That's right.
It pretty much bridged the gap. It bridged the gap, pretty much.
That's right. Like, first time I ever heard slabs was in Texas. That's the first time I ever heard somebody call them slabs.
But look how much shit. Look how much fresher the culture became when you got cats that say, "Yo, man, I'm chilling," or like, "Yo, I'm illin' over here," or "Yo, man, we posted up." You know, I'm about to hit a lick. I love it because the lingo that we got from each coast, we've all incorporated everybody's lingo, whether we know it or not. It's just that it's so much lingo out here right now. We don't know where it's derived from, but it's all hip hop because it's not just New York based. It's not just Cali based. It's not just Texas based, not Chicago based. It's so much fresher because everybody is involved with the shit now. You know what I'm saying? So we know when we go to Chicago, this is how they talk when they in Chicago. This is the shit they own when you go to New Orleans. And to me, if you ask me, man, if we lose that, if we lose that shit, then there's no originality in this shit, man. We don't know where we're going. So we got to keep that.
That's right. That's right. Even as far as the DJs, like you know, like in the South, you got certain DJs that's trademarked out here. You know what I'm saying? Like in Texas, Mike 5,000 watts. That's the dude out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, In New York, it's K-Slay and Flex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely, man. I love it, man. And before we wrap this up, man, gentlemen, I appreciate it, man. You know, Cracking Rap, we had a dope-ass conversation if I could play off them words, metaphorically speaking. Rob, man, hit everybody off, man, where they can catch you at, because you also have your own show, man, before we fade out this thing, man. Let them know where they can catch you at, man.
Yeah, on Hot 99, man, Saturday Shootout, every Saturday from 6 to 10. You know what I'm saying? I play the best unsigned artists. The best unsigned artists is hip-hop, R&B, reggae, you name it, and I'm on those wheels, and you're going to get that hip-hop, and we do vinyl, we do CDs, we do all that. And if you got any fire that you want to be played, that you feel like you need to get your talent out there, you can just send it MP3 to 99saturdays@gmail.com, and you will definitely get played. We do interviews, we do all that. We promote that new talent because it's out there. And I personally think that new talent out there that need to get heard is probably, I mean, I done seen guys get on this show, and from this show, they get put on the shows in their town, you know, that wouldn't give them a chance before they got on that show. So, it's basically I'm just showing love. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know, it's internet-based radio, but we got a good following. We got over 1 million listeners. You know what I'm saying? And it keeps growing. Late A&Rs listen to the station, the whole 9 yards. I ended up doing a movie soundtrack because of the station, so it's definitely a blessing. You know what I'm saying? You got that fire, send it to 99saturdays@gmail.com. Saturday Shootout, every Saturday from 6 to 10.
Y'all check that out. I hope y'all heard that. And also, I want to really recap on this real quick. This is my man right here, DJ Powerful, man, Rob Orton, Peter God, man, producer. We got some tracks out here, too. Y'all go check it out. Y'all go check anything else y'all got on that website. Y'all hit me with. He hit y'all with the radio station. Also, y'all go check out anything from James Ford. That's JAEMSIV /Facebook/Twitter, everything. And I got tracks right now on Reverb Nation. I'm loading up from me and Peter God, man, me and Rob Boyd, DJ Papa, Saturday 99. I will be on the show. Dan, you want to hit them over with your info before we get out of here, fam?
Oh, you know, y'all can catch me on everything on Soul Metro. Throwback Thursday, Royal Flush.
Yes, sir.
No timeouts on Sunday.
Yes.
I'm everywhere.
Yes. We will be in Faith tomorrow, though, man. Y'all check that out. Once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the Royal Flush on Soul Metro Radio. Yessurr FM. We will be releasing this within the next few days, so y'all check that out, man. Yo, take us out with the fader, crack, and rap. Yes, sir. We out, baby. Royal Flush. Y'all holla at your boy, James Ford.
I put rappers on my shit list, give a fuck what your name is. From underground to even the rich and famous, I cross them out, hit them with shit till I'm shitless. With and every rapper see alive on my shit list. Every rapper see alive on my shit list.
Hey, what's up? You just listened to a podcast of my show, The Royal Flush. Check it out live Friday nights, 10 o'clock Central Time. And check out the replay Saturday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Time on the Get Global Network. Yes, sir.